Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
Welcome, all in one and all, everybody, all you rockers, rockettes, everything in between, as I have always said. Thank you for joining us on this very special edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Welcome back to the show. If it sounds like I'm a bit somber, there's a reason for it. It's not really somber. It's more of just, I don't know, a kind of a melancholic feeling. And we'll get to that. But I, of course, am your co-host, Mark Kamier. With me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, how are you feeling tonight?
It's the end of an era.
It is.
You know, roughly 3 years ago is when I bugged you about doing a podcast, and I had no idea if we would get past show 4, show 10, show 20. Like, Mark's going to get sick of me at some point and just say, you know what, fuck it, I got too much other stuff on the go. I don't want to be doing this with you anymore, but hey, stuck it out through the entire Van Halen catalog. I'm impressed.
Look, that's a two-way street. I thought we will probably not get very far in this venture. There's a lot of songs in the catalog. I don't know if we have the longevity to pull it off. Also, the motivation, because who's going to listen to that? And, you know, it's not Corey and I's first time into this venture of podcasting, and so we've got some experience from the past of it not going so well, but yet as you say, here we are 3 years later. 3 years. It really doesn't feel like it. I was reflecting the other day after it was like a day or two after we did our last live show, and I was reflecting. I was like, 3 years, that doesn't even seem real, because where did the time go? And then if I really think about where the time went in that 3 years, it's like, a lot's happened in 3 years. And that's why it's felt like it's gone so fast. It's because it's just been a cavalcade of events. And that's just on the outside world. In the Van Halen world, there's been a lot, especially within the last year or two. So many things to talk about Van Halen wise. Just a testament to the legacy of the band and the boys staying relevant, because, hey, the world's on fire, and, we got to get in our dues where we can. So I don't know. It's been a very rockin' 3 years, dare I say. And I don't know. I'm not sad. I'm just kind of like, wow, I'm kind of in disbelief, but I'm looking forward to doing this one last time with you, Corey, or at least in this version.
That's
one
right.
last time.
Yeah, we're taking a new direction in season 4. Our good friend Chaz, it says, "Cheer up, boys. New beginnings need happy endings." That's what she said, and that's kind of where we are, because it's not a situation to be sad about, because in a few weeks we're going to be doing some solo stuff, and a lot of that, especially for the Sammy stuff, I've never heard before. So I'm really looking forward into digging into that catalog, and we get some cool extreme stuff in Mammoth and of course, David Lee Roth as well. Then we'll branch out into some of their inspirations, too. We'll get some ZZ Top. We'll get some Peter Gabriel. We'll get some AC/DC Powerage. Fuck, that'll be a lot of time to talk about. So
we're finally going to get Corey talking ZZ Top on a podcast, just like he's always been wanted. That's what all this has been for. It's just really his sneak attack to start the ZZ Top podcast. I see. I know what you're doing.
It almost happened, too. One of the Bo hosts actually wanted to, because he knows Billy Gibbons, too. And he said, we should maybe do this with ZZ Top. I'm like, fuck, that's tempting. But I do so many shows as it is. Adding another, and that's a pretty intensive catalog. Like, one thing when we talked about Van Halen was, you're talking about a dozen albums. It's not that bad. Kiss had, almost double that. It seemed like they were well over 200 tracks. And I look at the guys who are doing like the, Chaz and doing Rush Rash, getting through that whole catalog. And of course, Kevin and Randy doing Queen, pretty big catalog. They're still in the beginning stages almost of their journeys. They still got a little ways to go. So
Unbelievable. Well, just be on the lookout for my new show where I dive into the catalog and the career of Ronnie James Dio, and I'll never stop doing podcasts because that will keep me busy forever. Oh, it's like I'm only half kidding about that. I've thought about the idea, but anyway, I've been listening to a lot of Rainbow lately. So this being the last kind of official show of the traditional format, we might as well keep it real, do what we normally do. So Corey, tell me, what is going down on the Van Halen news desk this week?
Well, there's quite a lot, so let's get through it. And actually, the first story is one we're quite familiar with, and that's our good buddies Scott Monroe and Kevin Brown and their reimagining of Van Halen 3. They got a nice little article written up from our good friend Eric Senich on the Van Halen news desk. Ultimate Classic Rock picked it up, and Loudwire picked it up as well. So they're getting a lot of views on that right now, and good on them. Like that's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Very happy for
if any
those
two
boys.
people besides Corey and myself, or actually rather than Corey and myself, deserving of some attention for some really great work, it's those two dudes, Scott and Kevin. And it really is. It's pretty. I've only heard just a little bit of the Van Halen 3 Redux, but even the little bit I've heard has been a phenomenal improvement. So it's very cool, and it's very cool to see the conversation surrounding Van Halen again, and a forgotten album for many, and you just new perspectives. It's very cool. So congrats on Kev and Scott, and we'll just keep the momentum going.
That's right. And to that point, Mark, this past Monday, you and I recorded our episode of regarding Van Halen 3 with Chaz and Wolfie and Scotzo. I believe that's his nickname. I'm afraid to ask what my nickname is going to be if I do regarding slang with them for season 4 with Def Leppard. Cortisone.
You're Como.
Como? Great.
You're a Como.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Thanks, Mark, you prick. All right, let's get back to the Van Halen news desk. That's not a great nickname, Mark.
I thought it was all right, but all right, we'll workshop it. We'll workshop it.
Well, you know what? It's pretty close to coma, so I could see why you went
Seymour. Okay, you're Seymour. Feed me Seymour.
Oh, they're getting worse. All right. Sammy Hagar has a quote here. He had no response from Alex Van Halen on the new tour. Of course, as everyone kind of speculated, Alex auctioned off a good portion of his gear. I think he's all but done. So I know he's not real. He was the one actually who had even talked about not being real happy with what Sammy put in his book. So not shocked that Alex did not return those calls. And then we have some ads popping up. And of course, we have the 90% of the songs rehearsed for the new tour from Van Halen. That's all old news now because the tour actually started. We'll get into that a little bit. Shinedown's Barry Kirch on 04 Van Halen tour. As much as they hated each other, they were so sweet to us. So that's good to know that. Even though they had all their problems, they were still nice to the openers. We got Sunset Strip Veteran Shares Front Row Tales of Van Halen's Rise. Those are always really cool stories. So you got to check that out. And of course, the Best of All Worlds tour launched. You got lots of video. The set list. I was actually watching a video from the Tampa show on Sunday. Man, sounds pretty good. I'm really looking forward to it. I got Toronto here in just a little bit. Of course, there's fan shot footage of Good Enough Pound Cake. Our patron and good buddy Brad Gould was nice enough to post a set list in real time as it was happening in our Discord server, and he posted a bunch of clips too. So seeing a lot of these, man, they pretty much got everything. But you look at the set list, Mark. Let's just run through it real quick. Good Enough, Pound Cake, Run Around, There's Only One Way to Rock, Judgment Day, kind of a deep cut off of For Unlawful, good to see there. Panama, 5150, Summer Nights, you got to do Summer Nights. Ain't Talking About Love, Top of the World, Best of Both Worlds, Satch Boogie, The Seventh Seal, Right Now, Why Can't This Be Love, Eagles Fly, Mass Tequila, Heavy Metal, I Can't Drive 55. Then you had a little melody of Space Station 5, Oh Yeah, Jump, and then they closed off with When It's Love. That's a pretty solid set list. I was hoping for maybe a couple of, maybe like one or two more Dave era tracks. I get Mikey doing Somebody Get Me a Doctor. I thought would have been really cool, but I really can't complain too much. Dreams is another one that's missing, but fuck, he couldn't hit those notes at 77, and who can blame him? My goodness.
He probably didn't want to, because he would have to change the key of the song. You know, like have everyone like tuned down, and maybe just to avoid hassle, he just didn't want to do it. And I don't blame him. Those are hard notes to hit. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Sammy's the kind of guy. Well, that diminishes his musicianship, but he could be one of the guys that just prefer to, if I have a song we've written in a specific key, I want to keep it there. Any deviation is going to like throw me off. I don't think Sammy's that kind of person. I think he's much more rounded of a musician to be bothered by something like that, but it could be. You never know. But also, yes, original key, no, that's way too high. And Sammy's no spring chicken anymore. He's doing his best, though.
But it sounds pretty good. Like he does, leave the mic to Mikey for a lot of the higher stuff. Which is fine, like in the choruses and stuff. And Mikey does do Ain't Talking About Love. Sammy goes for a refreshment break at that time. So
that's another test. I mean, look, Mikey's not a young guy anymore either. And Mikey's still hitting those notes. So, yeah, full props and respect to Michael Anthony for sure.
Yeah. The number one word I've heard from people who went to both shows so far they've done is that it's fun. You're going to have fun. And that's all I'm looking to have.
That's the point.
I'm not one of these guys who's like all Dave and everything else is shit. I love both eras, and I really like the Gary era too. So I'm just going to have a good fucking time. Have a good time all the time. That's my philosophy, Marty. And I can't wait to buy way too much fucking merch. I know they have autographed posters. I've been showing the wife tonight, like, oh man, $300. I don't care. I'm gonna have to get an autographed poster signed by everybody. Come on.
A few more producer gigs, like on the fly, real quick, for some extra scrap. He's like, look, I'm going to go see Sammy Hagar and the boys. I need money.
Yeah, if anybody out there has a podcast they want me to produce, please let me know. I can make a little extra scratch. Yeah.
Yeah. Give Corey some money. He will produce the crap out of your podcast. So there you go.
Actually,
free endorsement.
We do pretty well with our good friends on the Patreon page. So I can maybe put that towards that investment because I use that for a lot of pays for the Zoom and Acast and all that kind of stuff. So they're really keeping the lights on. The reason why we did so many of these shows is because we have such wonderful patrons to help us, because I was just paying for everything at first, and I was starting to hear it from the wife. So it was nice that we could continue this journey thanks to them.
Understand, man.
Yep. And finally, one more article on the Van Halen news desk. The Ultimate David Lee Roth Summer Playlist. That's right. It's not just Sammy that has all the best summer tunes. Well, David Lee Roth has some too. This is another Eric Sanich article, and he has some tracks here. Let's go through them real quick and see what you think. We have Ice Cream Man, but from the Diamond Dave album in 2003, so not from the self-titled debut. Then we have Going Places from the DLR Band. Let's Take a Ride, which is unreleased. It's Party Time from episode 9 of the Roth Show. That even has like a fan video. That's cool. Of course, California Girls from Crazy from the Heat. You have to have that one on there. Yankee Rose. Never really considered a summer song before, but yeah, I can see that. Ladies' Night in Buffalo, of course. Love that track. Little Ain't Enough. That's a great one. Can't wait to put that one on the wheel and get into some of those tracks. Sunburn from Your Filthy Little Mouth. That's an album I don't think I've ever even heard. So I'm looking forward to getting into some of those. Going Crazy, obviously from the Heat, from Eat 'Em and Smile. That'll be a good one. Black Sand from DLR Band. Low Res Sunset, which is a standalone single in 2021. Coconut Grove. And yes, buy those Van Halen. I got the white and black Van Halen swim trunks. You can see them here on your screen if you got YouTube. If you don't, go to the Van Halen news desk. Go to the Van Halen store. All the Eddie Van Halen inspired swim trunks are back in stock. You got the red and white. You got the Bumblebee print. You got the white and black, which is the pair I went for. And you got a white, black, red, white hybrid. So that's what we got going on in the Van Halen news desk.
Hell yeah, good stuff. I could use some Van Halen trunks. It's hot out there. I need
they're nice.
Swimming trunks. So there you go.
They even got pockets.
All right.
Big fan of those.
Big fan of pockets. And you never realize how much you don't appreciate pockets until you wear pants that don't have them.
Amen.
And suddenly nothing makes sense anymore.
The world just doesn't make sense anymore. Chaz is like,
No,
they're playing Jump, and they are playing Jump at the end of the medley. So. And then Tom's like, $60 for a T-shirt. That's the world we live in now. Yeah, it's going to be $60 for a T-shirt. It's crazy, I know, but
that'll be like a clearance sale.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how much they're going to be in Canadian at the Toronto show. Like $100 for a hoodie and like $70-$80 for a T-shirt. Man, all of a sudden $300 for a
your
poster.
sake.
Well, truth be told, I figured they're not going to have my size anyway, so I already ordered a tour shirt from Sammy's website. Because I knew that they would have bigger fat guy sizes there. Because usually the fat guy sizes at any show I've been to, they're already sold out. They're a lot of big boys in Canada. So if you need a bigger size, they're usually the first to go. Especially at the Metallica show I went to. I lucked out and got like the last 2 3XLs in a couple of the designs, but I figured I'm not going to get one in Toronto because they're all fat out there. So I ordered one, and I got a Red Rocker Brewing Company one coming too. So if that one comes here in time, I might wear that one for the show.
You Toronto fatties, leave Corey some merch.
Just leave me a shirt, please.
Anyway, just leave him a shirt.
Yeah.
God.
I got to get a Loverboy shirt too. I mean, it's like Canadian law.
Yeah. I mean, well, maybe they have, maybe you can accessorize. Maybe Loverboy will have like some wristbands or something
Oh, sure.
you can get, and then you can add that to your Sammy shirt, your Van Halen shirt, whatever they're selling, accessorize. It doesn't have to be all shirts, but then again, if you want a shirt, go ahead.
That's a good call. And actually, what I've been doing for a lot of the Canadian bands I've been seeing recently is I've been getting beer koozies. So I got a Bare Naked Ladies beer koozie. I got a Kim Mitchell beer koozie. Get a Loverboy beer koozie. That's a good idea.
And that's, those aren't terribly expensive, so you won't break the bank on that. And it's a cool piece of merch that you'll use, if you're having a brewski and you want to keep it cold, then there you go. You want, I need a koozie. I got a Loverboy koozie. Nobody's got a Loverboy koozie. Boom. I'm better than everyone.
As long as it says working for the weekend on the back, I'm sold. I'm getting one.
I used to have a Deftones koozie. I have no idea where it went, and when I had it, I felt better than everyone, and now I just feel lost without it.
Now you're just sad. Poor Mark. I'm going to get you a beer koozie.
So
I'll get you a Loverboy one and send it.
Send me a Loverboy beer koozie just so I can look at the expression on my fiance's face, going like, "Why the hell would they send that to you?" It's like, you wouldn't get it. You got to listen to the show.
Exactly.
Listen to the show.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of the show, why not move to the next segment? It's been a while, so bear with me, you guys. But this is how we typically do it. We go over to the Twitter page and we take a look at the Rockin' Poll. We take a look at the poll of the song we did the week prior, and the last song we did, which was the second to last, was, of course, Aftershock, completing the cycle of Balance. And I was kind of hoping that at least of all the songs on Balance, that maybe Aftershock would get a rise out of people, and they'd be like, yes, hell yes. If nothing else, it's like, hey, it's the final Sammy song. Good job, guys. Yeah, let's vote for this. But only a whopping 85.4% voted what Dreams Are Made Of, as opposed to a 14.6. I don't know. I was kind of hoping that this one would be a Sammy track that cracked 90%, and it did not. Corey, are you surprised by that voting?
I was actually, at first, I was pretty pleased that it hit 85%. That's pretty high for a Sammy record. If you look at our rankings here, just above it, our runaround at 85.5%, Best of Both Worlds at 86.5%, and 5150 at 86.9%. And then Top of the World was 88. He's only had one track hit 90%, and that was Summer Nights. Currently 29th on our listing of Van Halen tracks here. Aftershock comes in at number 52. Yeah, I certainly would put it higher than 85, but I mean, for our anti-Sammy audience, that's actually pretty decent for him. That's ahead of Cabo Wabo, Pound Cake, Black and Blue, Finish What You Started, Right Now, Good Enough, Fools, like some pretty, or sorry, not Fools, obviously, but some pretty good tracks there.
Yeah, all of which should have been voted higher in my opinion, but what are you gonna do? There it is. But I'm curious to see how the audience will respond to more of the solo Sammys as opposed to the association with Van Halen. But going over to the poll of the 85%, looking at some of the tweets from our patrons, like Sean McGinnity from the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. Sean says, late to the party, but here I am. I do like the song, and I feel the enthusiasm both of you had for it. It raised it a bit higher for me. So what dreams are made of? So it sounds like he was kind of just like, I'm okay on the song. It's fine. I don't know how to vote. And then he heard our enthusiasm, and we infected him with positivity. And Sean said, yeah, I'm in. Thumbs up. So that's good. If Corey and I can do anything whatsoever correctly on this show, it's at least spread a little positivity. I know it gets negative here sometimes, but we try to be positive. We try. Corey tries harder than I do because he's better at it. Let's see. Our friend Rava Flav says, nice breakdown on this one, boys. I'm digging it. So he dug. I guess they just they thought the song was just fine, but they liked how we analyzed it. So I'll take it. I'll take that as a win. Yeah. So if we head on over to the Discord, to the little Mini Festos channel, then Once again, as always, thank you, Scott Monroe, for keeping spot for me, because otherwise this would be a problem. All right. Scott Monroe starting it off. He says, he has a lot to say. He said, I love this deep cut, and it's in my top 3 for the album, sometimes shifting among all 3 spots depending on my mood. It's what dreams are made of every day and twice on Sunday. Aftershock continues the dark and moody atmospherics of earlier tracks, notably Seventh Seal and Don't Tell Me. Standout elements for me are Eddie's cool licks and effects throughout, with delays and taps that create a foreboding tone. That riff seems to be crying out from the depths of a pitch black cave. Great call by Mark, referencing Metallica's Enter Sandman. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that heard it. That was a connection I hadn't made before, but now I can't unhear it. Oops, sorry. Sorry, Scott. Tonally, they're doing the same kind of thing by expressing darkness and building tension. Sammy's lyrics are personal and raw, yet can also offer a universal meaning about reeling from the separation with someone and moving on. I don't want to hear any junk about Sammy's lyrical shortcomings on this one. This is top notch. Good shit that fits the vibe of the album. I would have liked a little more harmonizing, but we get it in small doses at least. One final thing I feel compelled to point out. This is track number 8 on Balance. I found on many other rock/metal albums, track 8 is often a standout deep cut for me. So there's something magical and auspicious about the 8th song, and Aftershock is no exception. It's a banger from start to finish, and like its natural disaster-inspired cousin, Humans Being, it sonically suggests that our emotions can be their own force of nature. The man's a poet, he is. We can talk about Sammy's lyrics all the live long day and how he writes them, but no one manifestos quite like Scott Monroe. Manifesto Monroe, man. You just
Absolutely.
you just nail it. Nail it every time. Our buddy Jeff Brewer, he says, good call on the number 8 magical song theory. It certainly applies to some Van Halen albums. Feel Your Love Tonight, Girl Gone Bad, 5150, and The Dream Is Over are some of my personal favorites. The other number 8's not so much. So he really is commenting on Scott's manifesto, not so much his own. Chaz Mataz, old Chaz Charles says, Aftershock is like acid reflux. I'm looking for relief. Don't get why so many fans embrace this record. Okay, well, you take the good with the bad, and then da-da-da-da-da, you had the facts of life. I don't know how that theme song goes, but
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Come on, Mark.
Oh, okay, right. Well, in my defense, that was a bit before my time.
I know. Not mine, though.
But listen, in my youth, I watched a lot of Nick at Night, so, I'm aware of what the facts of life were. There you go, guys. Well, I wish I could tell you, hey, if you want your tweet guaranteed read on the show, join the Patreon. But instead, all I can tell you now is you should really just join the Patreon if you want to see or hear, rather, where Corey and I go with this journey. And if you want to have some input, some little sneak peeks, anything, if you enjoy what we do and you want to hear us continue to go forward, we are going to go forward. But if you want to be more in the know about it, go to patreon.com/podcastwillrock, find a tier that's right for you, join it. You'll get Discord access. That's where the conversations are always happening. There's always something really awesome and enlightening to read because we've got a great audience and they have insightful thoughts. And it's just a cool time. It's just really cool. I can barely keep up with it, but it's fine. I enjoy kind of being a lurker on Discord, just watching everybody talk. But there you go. So do that. And Corey, we're not going to manifest anything. We're not even going to spin the damn wheel. We could spin it.
Yeah,
we could spin it.
There's a few people in the Discord server like, you got to spin it, at least for the last time.
All right, fair enough.
And like, you know what? I don't mind listening to Runaround, so I get a little bit of Runaround tonight. But yeah, ceremoniously, maybe we should just spin it.
You're right. We will stand on ceremonies, and for the last time, at least of this era, this phase of the show, if Sammy's ready backstage, I know he's been aching for this last venture. So what do you say we let him have it?
All right, here we go for the last time in the Van Halen catalog.
Here we go.
Oh, there it goes. Where it stops. Everybody knows.
We know.
If it stopped at that black line, I wonder what happened. But no, it's going to be Atomic Punk from Van Halen. And if I hit remove, the wheel is done. The wheel is dead. It's just a big black void now.
let's take a moment, not of silence, to commemorate the wheel, but rather a moment of pure, just an airing of grievances, if you will. You see, the wheel, you were a fickle bitch. Sometimes you were really upsetting. And I think you did it on purpose, knowing that there were certain songs we weren't in the mood for, and you insisted that we cover them anyway. And a lot of, well, not a lot, but some of those times were not good times for us. The shows were difficult. You did that. You did that on purpose because you just didn't believe in our manifestation. And then sometimes, every once in a while, you throw us a bone. I believe Corey holds the record of the most shots called on the wheel. Did you make it up to 6 or 5?
Well, we're not counting tonight or last week, so we'll say 5. 5 is my legitimate number.
Well, there you go. So 5 times, 5 golden rings for Corey for having the wheel at least agree with him. And the wheel did agree sometimes, but overall, you were fickle and you were frustrating, but you are ours. So adieu, wheel.
Now there's going to be a new wheel, season 4. So careful what you say. It could be related to this wheel. I don't know what's going to happen, but look at the run we went on right off the hop. We started no wheel. We did Running with the Devil. We thought, let's kick off with Van Halen's first track from Van Halen 1. And then we spun On Fire, then Hot for Teacher, then Out of Space, then Big River. So it was all Dave, the early goings. Yeah. Then we get a Gary song with Dirty Water Dog. And then the first Sammy song didn't come until show number 7. It's About Time.
So poetic that we would end the show from the beginning of the Van Halen journey. We started and end with it. So I love that. I love the symmetry of it. Wasn't the song I thought it was going to end up being, but that's okay. It's totally fine. It's still a good song. I don't want to show my hand yet, but it's Atomic Punk, and it's from Van Halen 1. And if you've ever listened to anything I have remotely said consistently throughout this show, it's that there's no bad song on this album, or Van Halen 2 for that matter. Mm-hmm. So just to give you an idea of what to expect, but what do you say, man? You want to jump right into it?
It's time. Let's do it. Let's go all the way back to the debut record and a little ditty called Atomic Punk.
It was at that time a very young Tom Morello, his ears perked up and was like, ooh, that sound. I need that. I need that all the time. and he formed Rage Against the Machine, where he did it ad nauseum sometimes. But it was great. No, I love that intro, man. Like what it's so, and this is from early Van Halen. So like that, but even that just sounds like so different than what we would hear from later iterations of Van Halen. But here it is in the early, they're just firing on all cylinders,
Now you're a guitar player, maybe explain to our audience, because I'm not, what exactly Eddie is doing there to get that sound. It's something with like his palm, and I don't know, help us out here.
He's basically just kind of like sliding his palm and probably the pick as well against the strings, like by the bridge area on the body, like right at the bottom, and just kind of when you scrape it or slide it against the strings like that and your distortion's on, then you can make all kinds of sounds. And he's just very quickly with his hands just kind of, spinning the turntables, as it were, with his hands.
That is
unless he's doing something else that also just sort of resembles that sound. I'm not sure. Sometimes Eddie throws me for a loop with what he's doing.
Well, if Jeff or Josh are in the chat, they'll be able to tell us for sure. I'm just looking on the Van Halen news desk. And all it says here is Eddie rubbed his hand back and forth across the strings while kicking in his MXR Phase 90 to produce the scratchy sounding riff so prominent in this track.
Well, there you go. So he's just like turning the pedal on, off, just, fiddling around. But it's a cool sound, it's very funky. And it's quite an intro for a song that what you might think is going to be a ripper.
Now, he used that effect on another song, too. Do you remember which song?
That effect? Oh, God. No, I don't, off the top of my head.
Everybody Wants Some.
Or no. He was, okay, yeah, he was making like the jungle noises and things with that. Yeah.
Yep. Before the tribal beat came in.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Monroe says, sounds like he's using sandpaper for a pick. Kinda, yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
He's scraping it.
All right, let's get back into it.
I am a victim of the science age, a child of the storm. Oh yes, I can't remember when I was your age. For me, time's no more, no more.
This is almost his superhero origin story, isn't it? Like, I'm a victim of the science age. Always kind of gave me like Incredible Hulk feels. Like he's Bruce Banner getting hit with gamma radiation, and he morphs into the atomic punk who rules the streets at night.
Isn't he, I mean, he's a son of a doctor, right?
Yep.
So maybe some of that's in there. It's like, I'm a victim of the science age. Like, it's all science and, medicine and all this shit is like, because you're going to be a doctor. I'm a doctor. Da-da-da. And it's just like, no more. No, I need to be free. I need to, transform. So yeah, if we're going to use the his evolution to a superhero, yeah, he needs to spread his wings, man.
Yeah, don't ruin my my illusion of the Marvel origin story. I want David Lee Roth to get his own movie where he becomes
You want him to be Hulk?
He becomes the atomic punk who rules the streets at night. Has to battle with Spider-Man or something.
It's funny. I feel like he probably could have been there could have been a David Lee Roth comic book character. Like maybe there was.
He practically
Actually,
is already. Like he is a living comic book character.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, so he'd have been easy to illustrate, but I do wonder now. I wonder if there are some characters from Marvel in the 80s that were inspired by David Lee Roth. I'm gonna have to do some digging.
He says stuff like this all the time.
My string just broke. My nose is running. I'm angry. My girlfriend just ran off with two, not one guy.
See, he's a walking comic book character.
Yeah, he's something, or like a walking like a Charlie Brown peanut comic. Just because everyone that right there makes it sound like everyone shits on him. And this is like, oh, you're Charlie Brown in this scenario. Okay,
well there you go. What's the Broadway play? Is like, you're a good man, Charlie Brown. Let's get David Lee Roth to play like Linus or something.
the one that Larry David played before.
Exactly. Of the SNL skit. David Lee Roth could be Charlie Brown. I swear to God, Lucy, if you move that fucking football one more time.
It's like, I'm gonna try to kick it, and then I'm gonna kick you if you move the ball. Don't move it.
Don't doubt my kicks, lady. I've been kicking since 1977.
And she doesn't move it, but he over kicks because that's what Dave does with the big kicks, and he just over kicks.
And he whacks his nose with the mic stand and bleeds everywhere. And,
oh shit!
Yeah. There'll be no matinee tomorrow, folks. David Lee Roth broke his nose high kicking the football.
But he will be here for the morning brunch entertainment, doing scats, skibbity scat, just scatting for people.
There you go. Yeah, outside the theater with his hat on the ground. He can do a dance too, like he does on his YouTube. Oh Lordy, let's check the chat, shall we? Kevin Brown,
sure.
Welcome Kevin to the chat. Says, always thought Izzy stole that for the Mr. Brown intro too. Yeah, you kind of had that same effect on Mr. Brownstone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chaz confirms he was just rubbing his palm on the strings near the bridge. And he thought the lyric should have been, I'm a victim of my father's money stuck in a mansion off Orange Grove in Pasadena. Not quite as heroic sounding.
Oh, whoa is I. Yeah, it's not as poetic or rock and roll as that.
Yeah, it's a real different song. I'm the spoiled, rotten punk.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work.
That's the Taylor Swift version.
There you go. Don't get the Swifties after us, Mark. Jesus, we just got to the end of the Van Halen catalog. You're going to get us all killed.
Exactly. We're at the end. It's like, come after me, Swifties. Come on, do your worst.
All right, back to her.
Nobody rules these streets at night but me, the atomic punk. Oh yeah.
So one thing I always do when people come at us, and they do on occasion, say, because Van Halen is often categorized as heavy metal. Oh, Van Halen's not metal.
Mhm.
I point to them to songs like this and say, that's pretty
Oh,
fucking metal. That almost sounds like Judas Priest.
It's like you could say they're not metal. It was like, well, yes, and they are.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're a hard rock band, but also they are metal inspired and they have metal riffs. So, you know, you just like do the math.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. Obviously the lyrics in the song are painting a portrait. You know, definitely telling a specific story. There's a specific character. Do you think Dave is just speaking metaphorically in this one, or do you think this is how he views himself?
I think it's metaphorical because he's getting pretty explicit with it. Like, I am the ruler of the netherworlds, the underground. He's speaking as a character. I don't think he's actually walking down the streets of Pasadena, with his fur coat on, thinking he's some sort of atomic punk or something.
Well, the underground, like maybe he if he is kind of putting a personal spin on this, yeah, maybe he does. He views himself as like, oh man, when I go out at night, like I am the nightlife. People follow me. I'm the Diamond Dave. The charisma. So I'm just wondering if reality is bleeding into the fiction with these lyrics, or if I'm looking too far into that and he's just simply telling the story of the one called the Atomic Punk. So
well, it very well.
But I just want.
Yeah, I kind of thought just he heard the music, like big, heavy, driving music, right, and kind of developed this kind of character of the Atomic Punk, who would be walking through the streets with this music playing, right? Because it's pretty intense music, right? So I think he's kind of singing this more in character, but you never know with him. I haven't really found anything research wise on the meaning of the song or anything. It's just the brothers.
That's why I
asked,
because you never know with him. That's the thing. Like, as you say, you never know with Dave. So that's why I asked. Like, I wonder if he's just merely telling a story via lyrics, or if he's trying to send a message or something. I don't know. I don't buy that. Him seeing himself as the Atomic Punk. Like, I don't buy that, bro. You're not. That's even by this point in time. You definitely. I don't think we're that guy. So I hope it's just a story.
Scott kind of thinks along with my lines. Lyrically, you can imagine it as a comic book anti-hero. Kind of like a Daredevil, right? That's why I kind of equated it with a Marvel origin story, which, if a Deadpool and Wolverine can't save Marvel, I say, Kevin Feige, get on the phone to David Lee Roth and let's get an Atomic Punk movie happening.
Yeah, that's the move.
What else is going to save the MCU? Like, if Deadpool can't do it, it's got to be David Lee Roth, right?
I'm of the opinion the MCU doesn't need saving. It just needs, I guess, a movie that's just going to make people finally shut the hell up for 2 seconds. And I definitely think Deadpool Wolverine is going to be the one to do it. I
just had to bring that up because I'm trying to get a mini rant going from Mark here, because he used to rant about stuff like this all the time, and now he has no outlet for it.
Yeah, I know. Whatever am I to do? It's only because nobody was listening to me rant except for Corey, apparently. But if there is a call for more ranting, you best believe I will sit down at this desk with this mic and rant away.
I bet you there are a few in our Patreon who would listen to you rant away. And also, I can't wait for Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it looks like a lot of fun. Let's get back to the music.
Nobody rules these streets at night but me, the Atomic Punk.
All right, Mark, you're a fan of guitars.
I am.
Are you a fan of that?
I am a fan of guitars. That solo gives me the feel like I was almost knocked out of my chair listening to that solo, because it's like that's one of those like fire. So like I fully believe You ever see a comedy movie where they dramatize what a loud amp and a guitar tone does? Like, think
Yep.
Back to the Future.
Yep.
Marty thinking he's smart. That this is the solo where I could imagine the speaker erupts into flames after, like, once Eddie's put that final stamp in there, because that's just how powerful that solo was, and he just like. There was no build up to it. There was no stop. Like the music just kept going, and all of a sudden he was just like, "Oh yeah, this boom!" And it was just. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not saying it was intrusive or it was out of nowhere. It was just kind of like, "Oh, here's the next part of the song, the solo." They didn't give you any warning or anything ahead of time, so at first it seemed jarring, but then it was just like, "No, like we need the solo right here, and here's why." And he gives you that. God, if you had never heard Van Halen before, if you were out there and somehow it passed you by, but you were looking for what's a good representation of old school, like good hard rock, give them this song. I mean, you could literally cherry pick any song, I think, from Van Halen 1 or 2 for that matter. But give them Atomic Punk and just watch their minds melt. It's like, good, they were playing this good back then. It's like, yeah, most of the musicians back then were way better than they are right now. So yeah, that's I don't see how you say that solo just doesn't melt your face and give you everything you want out of a good, like, not even just a Van Halen solo, but a solo from just a good rock band, you know?
I have very little face left. Like, that is just incredible. Some of the most incredible guitar playing he's done, Eddie Van Halen, and that's fucking saying something. I wanted to point out that I really like I know a lot of people are kind of split on the panning, you know, Eddie Van Halen's pan to the left, bass drums pan to the right, kind of thing. A lot of people don't like that. They want a more cohesive mix. One advantage of having it panned that way is that you hear the bass a lot better. And I really loved what Mikey was doing on the bass there. Because Mikey, we always talk about how underappreciated he is. He was underappreciated in his own band, for fuck's sakes. But
unfortunately,
him and Alex were just so, like, this is what we're kind of missing on Without You. Whenever there was like a cool guitar part, we didn't have that support from the rhythm section. You really get it here. And I'm just going to look at the chat here. And actually, a lot of people talking about the bass in the chat, too. Josh loves Mike's bass supporting the solo. Tom agrees. Josh says Ed's amp sounds like it's going to explode. Can hear the transformer sag. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Jeff's another one. Love Ed's playing over Mike's bass. Absolutely. Oh, Chaz had to bring this up. Fuck twit Jerry Garcia on Eddie Van Halen said, quote, there are a lot of notes, but not much being said. No emotion. Like, fuck you.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Oh, that's
really.
Chaz, go home, Jerry. You're too high for Van Halen. Amen. It's all emotion with Eddie Van Halen. It's true. All emotion. Holy shit. Tom says Jerry can stand there in his wrongness and be wrong. Absolutely.
It's true. Yeah. And I wanted, I caught Mikey doing a few things, but I was just overwhelmed. I forgot what the solo sounded like in the song. And it was just kind of, I was trying to listen to everything. And unfortunately, Eddie, or fortunately, really, however you want to look at it, Eddie just trumped them all, because it just, as they, who said it, his amp sounds like it's about to explode.
Yeah, that was Josh.
I think in one take it probably did. It was probably smoking, and they were like, "Oh shit, okay, no, we need tubes. Who's got tubes?" And we gotta fix this shit real quick. No complaints. 10 out of 10.
Yep. Kevin Brown also looking forward to hearing Mark's rant on regarding Gilmore Girls. So when can we have that show, Mark?
It was a joke. For those that weren't in the know, you know, the Chaz Mataz has his regarding series, his regarding universe, and Kevin Brown made the joke, or Kevin Brown and Chaz made the joke of, I look forward to regarding Gilmore Girls. And I, simply being someone who has gone through that journey, and in fact recently went through it, I have an understanding of that show. And I have thoughts on
why am I not surprised?
I mean, look, I took the journey. Like, my fiance asked me, "This like, let's check out the Gilmore Girls. It's the show that I love." And it's like, okay, yeah, I've never watched it before, so I found myself getting into it and then getting very frustrated by so much of it. So yeah, I got thoughts. I got a rant about the Gilmore Girls.
I can't wait for Gilmore Girl rants. But before then, Josh Michael in the chat says one word: blistering. Would you say that summed up Eddie Solo there? That's
yes,
a good word.
but not in a bad way.
No, I don't think you meant it in a bad way. Blistering is pretty
good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Like blisteringly awesome.
Yeah, no, like it's blistering hot out here, which I hear down there in the States. You guys are under a heat wave right now.
We're literally on par with the Sahara Desert.
That's crazy. Kevin and I were complaining the other night on a call about how hot it was, and we did the conversion to Fahrenheit, and it was only like 83 or 84. It's like, fuck, these guys are dealing with like high 90s and hundreds in the States. Like we can't complain.
Like at night when the humidity goes down, it's maybe 83 or 4, maybe.
And we're like, how do you function? It's 84, which is like 34 Celsius. Like that's fucking hot, but nowhere near what you guys are going through.
You sweat through it, or you go inside and you don't move.
All right, let's keep going. Mercy.
What an odd ending.
I loved it though.
After all that, and we're just gonna end on like this dissonant chord, and then but a good arena rock ending from Van Halen, which is really cool.
Absolutely, I dug the hell out of it.
They're big fans of the fade out typically, so but a song like this, I'm glad they didn't do the fade out. I think it would have been it's like, okay, we get it, we get it, we get it. Yeah, it's just like just cut it. Cut it right there. That's perfect.
Kevin Brown
there you
agrees
go.
with me. Love that last key change chord killer. Ed was a master of feedback, says Jeff Brewer. Absolutely. That's how you end a song like Atomic Punk. You don't want to fade out. You don't want any of that horseshit. Lyrics are almost kind of secondary. It's how Dave delivers that, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
In character, if you will. Really fucking cool. But musically, this is a 10 out of 10 all fucking day. Holy cow. I guess I'm already kind of voting, so I'm just going to do this. Van Halen 1's a perfect album. It's one of those rare 10 out of 10s where you have like A+ songs all the way down to like the odd A-, but nothing below an A-. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction is in that conversation. Maybe a couple others. Van Halen 1 is right up there for me. I know a lot of people are really struggling with their rankings. One person, I won't say who, even just gave up. Sent me the rankings today and said, I'm just done. I can't fucking deal with this anymore. I give up. And I almost kind of understand because I'm trying to do mine. I'm like, it's like little minuscule reasons why I'm swapping shit around. And it's like, where do you put something like Atomic Punk? Like, it's not Feel Your Love Tonight, and it's not You Really Got Me. It's where does it fit? I don't know. I can't do the rankings. Let's just cancel Friday's show. Fuck. I don't know if I could do it either. But this song is brilliant. I love it. Musically, it's brilliant. Love how Dave sings it. I really want a Marvel movie about the Atomic Punk. It's fucking awesome. Totally what dreams are made of. Mark Meyer, what is your vote? Oh, yeah.
You can skip the theatrics. I know it's the last show of this era, but nah, to hell with it. Yeah, no, 10 out of 10. Well, there's a reason why you haven't received my rankings for this album yet, because I too am struggling. And it's so much the struggle of I don't want to rank this one based on, well, how am I feeling just right now in this moment? No, it's like, no, I want this one. It's like, how does it make me feel overall? Like, how does Atomic Punk line up to Ain't Talking About Love, or the something like that? It's like, how does it make me feel overall about life and the journey? So I'm still struggling. I'm not gonna give up though. I don't know who that was, but again, like Corey, I do understand, but give it another shot. You got this. But it's difficult. So Friday. I mean, we can cancel the live show if you want and just say
No, we got
nope,
guests.
It's all 10 out of 10. Where it's all perfect. With Van Halen 1. Go listen to it. It's fine.
We have guests. We better keep up with it. Jeff Brewer
Yeah,
says
you're right.
it's above. You really got me. For me, way above. I don't think anything is way above anything on this record. They do. You really got me better than the Kinks. You heard me, Kevin Brown. It's true.
It's true. Sorry, Kev. Yeah, no, but I can understand if you wanted to vote that one lower simply because it's the only one not original. It's like it's one of the non-originals on the album. So therefore, you can't give it its proper placement in the upper tier. That I get because we've seen that before. I've heard that argument. And that's fair. However, it's a really good cover. So.
Jeff Brewer says I have it above Ain't Talking as well. So his rankings are going to be really interesting.
Now you're just talking crazy. So you're like, you ain't talking about love, you talking crazy. So now now we have to complete the ranking because now I'm concerned. I'm concerned for the other lists. Like, what are you guys doing here? What is this, a conspiracy?
Uh-oh.
No. It'll be fun.
Kevin Brown talking smack for a 4'8" midget who lives 3.5 hours away from me. He says, yeah, I heard you, and you're going to hear me waiting for you in the parking lot. Bring it on, Peter Dinklage. Let's do this. And then, Chaz, put, I'm the one lower. And Jeff is just kerflummoxed by that. I'm the one lower than, yeah. I tell you, these rankings are going to be all over the place. You're not going to have like that one or two songs right at the bottom that everybody knows is right at the bottom. Like, who's going to put like fucking Eruption last? Like, everyone loves putting the instrumentals last. No singer. I can put that last. But Eruption, I don't think is going to be last in the Van Halen 1 rankings.
I mean, of all the instrumental tracks they've put out, you could make a fair argument as to why any one of them might be last on your list because, like, well, it's instrumental. It's not really a song, but Eruption's in a class of its own. So, yeah, you're right. I don't know who's going to put that last, but
you can make the case
it's
one. Like, a lot of people, some people are putting on one because...
I mean... It's great.
Yeah. This is the one where everyone's going to have an opinion and it's all going to be right. Like, I put this one at 7 because I literally had nowhere else to put it. That's valid.
That's valid, yeah. But that you're going to get so much shit from some other people. Like, you put this at 7? What? Like, hear him out first. And Eruption specifically is kind of cultural. Like, it's in the cultural zeitgeist and has, I mean, not as relevant today. But I mean, just in terms of just any musician, any guitar player, especially who has ever played guitar for a brief period of time, Eruption is kind of built into because like it's one of those I would think is the gold standard of solos.
Yep.
And like modern guitar work. So yeah, it kind of needs to go somewhere on your if you're learning guitar, you're trying to get better and better. And you make a playlist of songs to inspire that, I think Eruption deserves its place on that list. So,
well, here's somebody who might be putting it one is Kevin Brown. He says Eruption is Dave's best performance on the album. Hey, Chaz. And that got Chaz's dandruff. He says Dave is brilliant on this album, and I agree with that. Even Kevin had to say, yeah, your boy done pretty good. So even Kevin had to begrudgingly admit that Dave's all right on this record.
He's all right on this record, but I especially love his work in Eruption, the instrumental. Like, yeah, me too. I love it.
When he was doing coke in the bathroom, he was great on that track.
Yeah, that's why Dave's not on it. He was in
his temporary sex office. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, the sex office. Shit. Oh boy. Do we have that on a shirt yet?
We do, actually. It's on our storefront. Right, but had we not done this show, you would never have known about David Lee Roth's temporary sex office at the Whiskey A Go Go.
That's true, dude. I'm telling you, this show has been so informative for so many things. Corey's come and go adventures, for one.
Wearing my Plentywood T-shirt tonight, my friend. Yeah.
There you go.
The ejaculate and evacuate.
Not just Van Halen knowledge, man. Just a whole wealth of knowledge and different little anecdotes given by our guests, our audience, and just the things that we've come across in our days. And so if nothing else, because Corey and I, and I'm going to say this for probably not the last time, but I am going to say it. We're not experts. What you got there? I can't even tell.
Scott Haskin sent me this picture of a chain in the States called the Squirt Wipe and Go.
Oh, my
that's
God.
Even worse than the Come and Go. It's like a car wash, Squirt Wipe and Go.
That looks like it's somewhere out in like the West where there are no rules out there out that way, and that is literally people trolling and getting away with it, and that's great. I love that. Scott Haskin, you're a treasure. But as I was saying, Corey and I, we're not experts. This journey through the show has not made us any more experts on Van Halen than we were 3 years ago. We are more well informed, that's for sure, but not experts, and definitely not rock historians. So, oh man, I had a point to that, but never mind. It's fine. Like, it's just, well, I guess the point is, I have to remind everyone, and I have to let you guys. I remember what the point was. The point was, even though this journey was to help us reappreciate, rediscover the music of this band that we love, wasn't just to be well informed on all things Van Halen, but it was also, it was just to learn a little bit more and to just appreciate it more than we did before. And I think, at least on my side, I do find a lot more appreciation for it. Some of that appreciation isn't necessarily all positives, like, because unfortunately these were just dudes, okay, and we can idolize our favorite bands, our favorite entertainers, whoever they may be. We can idolize them as much as we want, and we can hold them to a high standard, but at the end of the day, they're just people, and people make mistakes. People make bad decisions on occasion. People forget things. You ever forget? It happens to me all the time. We just have to take in stride that not everything they did as dudes was great. And not every decision they made in their career was, let's say, the one they should have. And there are things, that have come to light about the guys that are sort of like, that's less seemly than I would have liked to know, but I'm informed now. That doesn't diminish your love for the band. At least it shouldn't diminish your love for band. It has not diminished my love. I have just a greater appreciation. Corey, I don't know if this journey has done that for you, but what do you think?
Yeah, I like we kind of said from the beginning, we didn't explain it really well. We're just trying to rediscover the band by going through the catalog, not being experts. I find that kind of dull, like knowing absolutely everything on a subject. Well, what's the fucking point of talking about it then, right? Like, I want to learn as I go on this journey. And Scott Monroe put it pretty well here. He said, if not experts, you're at least well-informed part-time faculty at this point. So I'll take that. Well-informed,
perfectly adequate.
Yeah, perfectly adequate. Absolutely. And the real Van Halen were the friends we made along the way. There you go. Thank you, Tom. But like Van Halen fandom is something. Our good friend Johnny Bean just started a new group on Facebook, which I believe some of our patrons are a part of, called exclusively Van Halen, I think it is. And I joined up. And already everyone's just fighting with each other. Just angry. Why the Sammy tour sucks. Why this album sucks. Why you suck for thinking this sucks. And it's just everyone's at each other's throat. And it's, why can't you just appreciate something? Why can't I just wanted to appreciate this band and have fun doing it? We made a lot of great friends along the way, and all the people who thought we were shitheads, they all dropped off, and that's fine. Fuck you, bye. Don't care. Yeah. Won't miss you. You go back to knowing everything about Van Halen and just sit in your basement and, listen to Van Halen 1 on repeat all the time and just enjoy your life. That's perfectly fine. We just kind of wanted to go on this journey. Now we're going to go on a new journey where we're going through the solo stuff. A lot of that's going to be first-time listens, and it's going to be a fuck ton of fun. And hopefully a lot of our good friends will come along for the ride, and we're going to have a new voting system. I haven't even told Mark about this yet, but I'm going to bust it out on the first show. So you have no idea. Kevin Brown knows because he's going to help me with some stuff as we get into season 2.
Oh, they're scheming.
New theme songs, new everything. We're working on some stuff. All right, I was in that group for 48 hours and I wanted to leave. I'm like, why is everybody, like grown adults, just yelling at each other about Van Halen?
Because it's Facebook. That's like, what I mean. That's all that app is now. It's just we're all yelling at each other. Like I don't know why I'm still on it. Well, I do because for social purposes and networking.
Yeah.
But if I could get away with not using that, I would. I'd delete that so fast because I'm over it. It's like, and the thing is, guys, the world's on fire. And it's all going to hell in the handbasket. So shouldn't we, at least for the time being, just talk about the things we enjoy rather than the things that we think are shit, or whether like that thing you like is shit? Nah, we're done with that. We're done with that. We're done negging people. We're done undervaluing people's love for things. Like, no, this is the era where we're just like, you like that thing, man. I love that you like that thing. I love that. Oh, you listen to this band. I have a weird opinion about that band, but I'm open to hearing your perspective. Maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe Corey and I helped change some minds along the way, just based on our perspective on a certain song. I recall there were people that were just not looking forward to some of the songs that we spun. But once we talked about it, once we went through it and analyzed it, they told us, it was just like, actually, I wasn't big on this song, but you helped me turn that around. Sometimes Corey's helped me turn around on my feelings on a particular song with how he feels about it, and goes into his little mini manifesto as to why he voted the way he did, and go, you know what, you convinced me. Okay, I'm in. It happens, and that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to just spread more positive things out there in the world, because again, the world's on fire. It doesn't need any help with more negative bullshit. And I know that's ironic coming from me, someone who was a self-appointed ranter, and I rant. I'm ranting right now, but I like to think that the rants have purpose and meaning, not to demean, but rather to uplift. So that's the thing. If you're going to rant, if you're going to be passionate about a thing, then be passionate about it in the good ways. Don't celebrate the positives. Don't celebrate the negatives, because we've got too much of that. Am I right? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So there you have it.
Well, Kevin Brown agrees. He says, yes, Mark, I enjoy coconut cream pie and feisty podcasters from Weyburn. I don't like either, so I don't support you in that, Kevin. But I'm
sure you love cream pies, Kevin, but now's not the time.
I was going to make a Kevin Brown Nickelback joke, but I'm not going to. Because it's okay it's okay that he loves Nickelback. I'm trying to tell him that.
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to keep putting up this front, like, oh, I hate Nickelback because it's the cool thing. It's okay to love it. Like, I on my Twitter, I showed the pictures of his tattoos. I showed the picture that he took with Chad Kroger when he did the meet and greet. It's all good. He recommended their documentary to me on Netflix. It's a very well done documentary. Very good. The guys in Nickelback seem like good guys. I'm not the biggest fans of their music, but a lot of people are. And that's okay. But cake is still better than pie, Kevin. Pie is fine, but cake is just a little bit better.
Kevin thinks pie is better than cake?
He does, yep.
All right.
Do you not agree with that either? Are you a cake man as well?
I mean, give me both.
Obviously. Yeah, like they're both good. I'm diabetic. I can't have either. But it was a big thing on Seaside Pod Review because Randy is team cake and Kevin is team pie. And like, if gun to your head, you got to pick one. What's it going to be?
Oh, cake.
Yeah,
right? It's cake all day.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with pie, but you got to go cake.
Yeah, no, pies. But you can go way wrong very quickly with pies sometimes, and with cake you've got some wiggle room, I think. But, but this isn't the baking podcast, because you wouldn't have me on that show because I cannot bake. But I enjoy baked goods. So with that being said, it's time to get our own baked goods. But before we do that, we have to sign off for this era one final time. So, and for one final time, final in quotations, one final time. But in this iteration of the show, I just want to say, bottom of my heart, thank you all for listening. Thank you for your comments, your tweets, your any emails, even the ones that weren't so favorable to us, or the ones who I would love the show, but you just have no idea what you're talking about. Like, okay, but at least you listened to it and you thought there's something good happening in there. There's some people talking about Van Halen. They're not talking the way I want them to, but they're talking about it. So it's fine. But either way, you helped us grow as a show, as a podcast. You helped us get more people involved in the discussion, more people talking, more people listening. And that goes a very, very long way. So thank you. And thank you if you are, especially to all our patrons, man. You guys, all of you guys on our Discord that are constantly talking, constantly keeping the chats going, and giving us ideas of what you would like us to do, how you think the show can be improved, or just what things can we explore in this continued journey. Because even though this is the end part one, I mean, this is not the end for me and Corey. No. As he said, we've got plenty more coming down the pipeline, and we wish you all to continue to join us in that journey. Or if you're just tuning in now, you have a lot of homework, but have fun doing that. It's a good time, I promise. And when you're done, you're all caught up, come back to us, join us for some more fun. And probably a lot of head scratching, because as Corey said, we're about to dive into some territory that, we're just not 100% familiar with. So a lot of it will be new listens, fresh perspectives. Some of it will probably not be all, thumbs up. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, man. But more than that, I'm just happy that we've continued this journey. I'm happy we got to this place, and I'm happy for each and every one of you. Do remember, go to podcastwillrock.com. That's where we have all of our backlog episodes. That's where the links to all the socials are, and our merch store. Please get yourself a tank top, not a shirt, because tanks are much cooler, and it is hot out there, despite what Corey and Kevin were talking about. It's hot. It's hot over here. We are in Sahara Desert territory, so for God's sakes, don't wear a lot of layers, because you're just killing yourself. Get you some merch, man. We got some cool stuff, some cool designs. By the aforementioned Kevin Brown, of course. And then, of course, Podcast Will Rock at or patreon.com/Podcast Will Rock. Join the Patreon. Find a tier that's right for you and continue the journey with us. If you don't see a tier that you particularly like, or you think you can think of something better, let us know. Maybe we can make that happen for you. For a price, of course, but nah, we're easy. We just want to keep everybody involved with the journey, and we thank you very much. So, Corey, you know what time it is now?
Well,
it's before we sign off. You got to do the thing.
There's two things we got to do. Mark,
there's two things. There are, yeah.
For the last time in the Van Halen catalog, we're gonna play. How many times did Van Halen perform Atomic Punk? You're the only one on here, Mark. So. You got a good shot at it. Remember, you got to get closest to the actual retail price without going over.
The thing is, this is such a ripper. This feels like they probably should have had this song on every single tour. And if that's the case, then it's like, oh my God, I don't know. So I'm just going to take a wild stab at the dark. I never look at these ahead of time. I don't. The only time I get lucky is when Corey accidentally puts it on his screen and I can see it.
Which I've not done tonight. So you're
no, you haven't.
Blind,
it's just you. He's like, you're not cheating, asshole. I'll say they have played this live a healthy number of 500 times.
500 times. All right. Well, Jeff Brewer in the chat says 250 times. We'll play the music. We'll see if any more guesses come in. Remember, everybody's on the honor system. No Googling.
Yeah. One of y'all Googled. I know you did.
Kevin Brown says 220. All right. Well, you said 500, Mark. Let's give you one of these. You went over, my friend. The correct answer is 230 times. So Kevin Brown is the closest. He was within 10. So we're going to give him both showcases. Jeff Brewer went over by 20. Scott Monroe had 150. He was way under. Obviously done the majority of the times in the 70s. Played a little bit in 1980. And then in 07, 08, they played it 39 times and 37 times respectively. And once in 2013. So in the Different Kind of Truth tour, that one was actually in Japan. That was
wow.
Nagoya. They played that was song 20, sandwiched in between Woman in Love and Mean Street. Fuck, is that a run right there? Imagine a run of
yeah.
Well, start with like I'll Wait and The Cradle Will Rock, Hot for Teacher, Woman in Love, Atomic Punk, Mean Street, Beautiful Girls, Ice Cream Man, Panama, a guitar solo that encompasses Eruption, Spanish Fly, and Cathedral, and then Ain't Talking About Love to finish the set.
Good God.
Jesus. Like, is that a set list and a half?
What kind of a show was that? How do you leave that place not just changed? Just like mentally, physically, even like maybe your hair is like pushed all the way back because of the solos. I don't know. Like, oh man.
And they did Dance the Night Away.
If any of you out there saw those shows, I envy you.
I bet, and then they do Dance the Night Away. Hear about it later. Somebody Get Me a Doctor. Everybody Wants Some. Romeo Delight. Then they had to do a few from Different Kind of Truths. They did She's the Woman, Tattoo, and The Trouble with Never.
That's crazy. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, I've lost that game. So finally, for the last time of this iteration,
being a complete dick.
I hit the wrong button. I meant this one.
let them have it, Corey. Tell them about the Deep Dive Podcasting Network.
Oh, yes. I got to do that too, don't I? All right, Chaz. Here's your opportunity to put this in your show. We're talking about all the great shows on the Deep Dive Podcast Network, including the Ultimate Catalog Clash featuring myself and Kevin Brown. This season, we are doing the first 20 years of the Foo Fighters. We just wrapped up Wasting Light. We're about to record our episodes for Sonic Highways, and then we're done. We'll be done season 3, and we'll find out who the artist is going to be for season 4. I cannot wait. Kevin Brown also does a brilliant show called The Tom Petty Project, and another one called Seaside Pod Review, breaking down the catalog of Queen with his good buddy Randy Woods. Then we have the legend himself, Scott Haskins, at the Haskin Cast. They were doing their Karate Kid Cobra Kai predictions with John Matola here. You got to check that out on YouTube. And then he has the show Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. Then we have Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, The Simple Man at Skinner Reconsidered, Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts. He just had Darren Paltrowitz on our show. That is a must-listen. Check that out. Then we have Rye at Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods, Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z, Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madmen, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, Ben and Sam at Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast, George and Hattie at the Judas Priest Cast, Clay and Rye at North by South Podcast. That's an American versus Canadian music comparison show. Check that out. Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pod, So What? Quinn at Volume for All. Savnik, Steve, and Mark at the Rock Roulette Podcast. Then we have the Chaz-tastic universe of shows, including Regarding Lulu with Greg, Chaz and Chats at Rush Rash, Chaz and Wolfie at Regarding Roger, Chaz and Scott and Wolfie at Regarding Van Halen 3. Then we have the Rewind to 1984 podcast, the Sean Geek and Fast Fred podcast, the DLR cast, the Bogus Oda Show, Booked on Rock with the legendary Eric Senich, You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast, Spinning the Wheel podcast, Dissect That Film, Three's Company 2 a Rewatch podcast, the Nerf Herder Council, Talking Into Infinity, and Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting. This week they did Sportin' a Woody by Dangerous Toys. Check out that show.
Oh, man. And hey, while we're doing lists, I can't believe I forgot it, but I've got to give a shout out to our patrons because that's, that's part of the deal, right? So big thank you to our amazing patrons, Matt Lacoste, Nate from the Deep Purple Pod, Rava Flav, Josh Caldwell, Greg Zito, Michael Griffith, Chaz Charles, Sean McGinnity, Kevin Brown, Per Lineker, Scott Monroe, Ryan Powell, Jeff Brewer, Tom Armbruster, Scott Everett, Heath McCoy, Janice Risco, Brad Gould, Davey Lee Smith, Chad Pollock, Brett Parker, Jeff Fisher, Scott Haskin, John Drake, Connor Burton, Rabbi Yvette Bana, Jay Steyer, and Dan Papathopoulos. Thank you guys so much.
Couldn't do it without you. What episode are we under? 140 something, right? Jeez. You think as the show statistician, I would know that, but...
Something like that. I don't know. Just count all the Van Halen songs and whatever you get to. That's it.
I think we're on like a 142, 143, somewhere in there, because we had live shows in there this Friday.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this on Friday morning and you're thinking, man, I could sure use more of these idiots, we're going live Friday night, talking Van Halen 1. I hear Kevin Brown might be there. I hear Scott Monroe, Chaz might be there. Darren Paltrowitz is going to try and make it, and we're going to have an appearance by the one and only Eric Senich to help us reveal our rankings for Van Halen 1. And then next Wednesday night, we're going to be recording our wrap-up show, wrapping up the first 3 seasons. Kevin Brown's going to give us a hand with that. And we'll talk about what we got coming in season 4 and beyond.
Hell yeah. So, like I said, we're done, but we're not done. So stick around, please. But again, big thank you for joining us on this journey through the Van Halen catalog. On behalf of Corey and myself, we are, and the podcast will rock, and we shall rock you later.